Hey everybody, Taz from Critical Thinking Anarchist here. So I've got an interesting one for it all. Nick Rekieta, his wife Kayla Rekieta, and I don't know April Imholt were all arrested yesterday. Um, Nick is a relatively well-known YouTuber, a law tuber, as they kind of called him. Gained a lot of popularity with the analysis of the Johnny Depp trials. So part of why I mean I don't follow him, but kind of why I'm aware of him was because a lot of the geeks and gamers crew, whom I do follow, um, were big into him at the time, and then of course he became a guest on several of their shows. He's of course from my home state of Minnesota, so I kind of started following him a little bit. I didn't follow him on Twitter or YouTube really too much, but it was kind of fun getting into his analysis of things and listening to his legal takes. Um, so I mean, it's really sad, really unfortunate that any of this happens. I'm going to bring this back here. So they got fifth degree possession, and then with Nick and Kayla, they have possession, ammo, firearm, use of controlled substance. So one of the things that they got schedule 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not really clear based on this at any rate what exactly they were, what they had, and why this all happened. Again, from this, I'll get into that in a little bit. And also shout out um, to that umbrella guy and Flash for posting this and everything. There's a lot of geeks and gamers, and Eric July, again, I'll get into that a little bit later. They're all wishing him the best. Hope he gets the help that he needs. I do as well. I don't wish harm upon anybody, whether I agree with them or not. So, in this particular article here, lawyer Nick Rekieta encounters personal legal hurdles alongside wife Kayla Christine and April Imholt. This is coming from Belmont Film House. American YouTuber and lawyer based in Minnesota, known for creating content that combines legal analysis with a comedic twist, often while enjoying a drink. And that was kind of again how everybody kind of got into it. Drink along with the lawyer. Various legal tactics, etc., etc. Arrested May 23rd, Candy, Ohio County. Possession of Schedule 1, 2, 3, 4 drugs. So I mean, the one thing it's fifth degree possession. And so again, I don't know how accurate this is, and I also don't know if they break those down at all, or if it just says when you're arrested for it and charged with it, you're arrested and charged with it. I don't know. I'm not a law tuber. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how all this goes. Um, an appeal was filed with the state of Minnesota regarding a court order and judgment related to Nicholas Rekieta and Rekieta Law. Nick and Kayla have 5 children, and the recent arrest incident involving them has raised concern. Child Protective Services is now involved to ensure the safety of their kids. Da 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 da. Who cares? So more. I mean, that's not really a good one here. This one, oddly enough, and I apologize for all the ads in there. I have ad block on, but my god. Nick Rekieta arrested following concern of child abuse. This one is from Kiwi Farms, County Local News. In a shocking turn of events, Nick Rekieta, a popular online personality, has been arrested following concerns of child abuse. Useful mistake from the Kiwi Farms obtained the incident report from the sheriff, shedding light on the disturbing situation that led to Rekieta's arrest. According to the incident report, the police were dispatched to his residence after receiving a report from a mandatory reporter, I'm not entirely sure what that is, regarding potential child abuse. The details of the report have not been disclosed, but it is clear that the situation was serious enough to warrant an immediate response from law enforcement. The news of Rekieta's arrest have sent shockwaves through the online community, with many expressing disbelief and concern over the allegations. Rekieta, known for his online presence and controversial opinions, has garnered a large following, making this news all the more surprising to his fans. As the investigation into allegations continues, Rekieta could be facing serious legal consequences if the accusations of child abuse are proven to be true. child abuse is a heinous crime. We don't need your Jesus, people. In light of these disturbing allegations, it is crucial to remember the victims of child abuse and to suffer that. Yeah, we get it. As more details emerge about the incident that led to Rekieta's arrest, it is clear that this is a developing story with far-reaching implications. The allegations of child abuse are deeply troubling. Yeah, and you can go. I mean, you can check this all out. I'm not going to do it. It would be, it'd probably be doxing in that case. But yeah, it's interesting. No, I stopped being a fan of Nick Rekieta following an issue he had with Eric July. You guys know I back Eric July, back Isom Comics and all that. Big fan of him on YouTube and X. The two had a dust up a while back. Now, Nick and Eric were, so to kind of give you some context of that whole thing. Nick and Eric were talking about Eric's issues with another YouTuber who came down and went to their unlisted offices, their warehouse area, and was filming himself outside of that. Another, I don't know if it was the same guy or a different guy, but peed on his grandfather's grave, and recorded that. And Nick was giving some legal advice. It's tough to say if it was really legal advice or just kind of his, stating what he believed Eric should do in those cases, Eric's comments or whatever. So there's a couple things. Financial people and lawyers really can't and shouldn't be giving legal advice when they are not a person's lawyer. Nick has never been hired by Eric, as far as I'm aware of. So he probably shouldn't have been saying, hey, by the way, legally this, and this. The other portion being that Eric is in Texas while Nick is in Minnesota. Texas has different laws regarding this. Now, Nick is an educated individual, and I'm sure he is aware of a lot of laws across the states, and a lot of these laws are likely federal that he's aware of. But Eric's response is basically, I got a team of lawyers who are actively dealing with me, are actively dealing with this situation, and they know the laws around here. And was it kind of a confrontational statement? Yeah, or inflammatory statement. I'll say that it was a kind of an inflammatory statement. But the other part being that, Nick really shouldn't have been stating, you can't do this legally, you can't, whatever. One, he's not Eric's lawyer, and two, he doesn't know the specific laws in Eric's jurisdiction where all this is going on. It got blown way out of proportion. Eric and Nick multiple times talked in private and said, hey, didn't mean it to be anything more than it was. It was just, a statement. Probably wasn't said the best way or whatever. Tried to work it out. Meanwhile, Nick decided to blast him publicly. And you shouldn't be doing that. I mean, if you genuinely consider the person a friend, you never want to try and blast the person publicly. So that was where I kind of started being like, geez, really? Another time, another EVS thing, Ethan Van Sciver, and then of course Ethan had him on multiple times and stoked the flames. That's what he does. Now I saw, I was still kind of following it all because I don't want to hold one incident, one misunderstanding against a person. So when they came to Minnesota, when Chrissy and the entire crew came to Minnesota and they were doing a show, my wife and I went up to St. Cloud and we watched. Unfortunately, that was the same day after, and we didn't know it at the time, that Chrissy's father was murdered. So she couldn't be there, but as they say in the entertainment business, the show must go on. So everybody, still did their parts. Nick filled in. I don't know if he was in supposed to be there or not filling in. But to his credit, I got to give him credit. He did a like 30 minutes worth of material. And you know, a lot of people say the hardest thing to do in show business is stand-up comedy. To his credit, he wasn't bad. He had a lot of stuff prepared. He did his thing. He went overtime because he had no idea what he was doing, and nobody stopped him. Um, so again, to his credit, he did that, you know, and good for him on that. I apologize if you can hear my son in the background. But the other side of that being that, and, you know, I've made a video on that one, and the show was filled with a lot of. It was mostly the Steel Toe in the morning show. I think it's Steel Toe in the morning show, Toe Jam in the morning show, whatever. I don't care. Pearl Jam in the morning show. It was filled with a lot of anti-Eric ranting and raving. And I'm sitting there like, what is, you know, Eric's not here. Most of the audience is, you know, I figured at any rate we're Geeks and Gamers Friday Night Tights people. So we have no issue with Eric. You know, we definitely weren't there for Nick. We were there for Chrissy. Chrissy has no issue with Eric. Chrissy has no issue with anybody else. So, I mean, the only one on the show who had an issue with Eric was Nick. And then apparently the Steel Toe in the morning show or whatever it was. So, I mean, it really kind of brought things down every time they mention that whole issue. And I'm like, this has nothing to do with anything. It's not comedy. You know, that you're just stoking flames. You're stoking egos. And I think, of course, after the Johnny Depp trial, you know, that was kind of going with that. So, I mean, after that, he got a lot of backlash. Of course, with no massive trials going on. I mean, oddly enough, I don't know why. I don't know. Then again, I'm not entirely sure if any of Trump's stuff is being televised by any means. So with no real amazing trials being televised, he has not a lot of work, but he's been doing a lot of guest spots on, again, other people's podcasts and videos, having them stoke his ego. But his audience has dwindled a lot over the last couple of years as a result of all of this. And I think that kind of got to it. You know, I mean, you get high and you want to keep that high. And, you know, as a lawyer, you know who has the drugs and everything else. But again, as the one article said, it is an issue of child abuse. Now, there isn't anything clear. I'm curious if the child abuse is that they were doing the drugs around the children. They had the drugs and whatever else around the children, so that nobody was really taking care of them. So I can see that. But we'll see. Mostly for his family's sake, mostly for his kids' sake. I hope everything turns out well for them. I hope they get their stuff figured out and they get it fixed. It just sucks. You know, you see people go to these heights and they fall into the trap. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. Of course, like, share, subscribe, all that other fun stuff. One more video today, and I will see you next time. Bye.